Ladies and gentlemen, gather around the digital campfire as I, your humble historian of timeless sagas, take you on a journey through time to explore the origins and history of the Black Lives Matter movement. A movement that emerged from the depths of social injustice, a movement that has swept the world, and a movement that continues to change the way we perceive race and equality today. But before we dive into this riveting tale, let us first set the stage. Our story begins in the early 21st century, in a land known as the United States of America. This great nation, founded on the principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, had long grappled with a dark and sinister force lurking in its very fabric, the specter of racial injustice. For centuries, African Americans had faced systemic discrimination, a legacy left by the cruel institution of slavery. Though the chains of bondage had been broken, the shadows of inequality still haunted the lives of many Black Americans. Enter the year 2013. The world was rapidly changing, thanks to the power of the internet and social media. Platforms like Twitter and Facebook were now connecting people like never before, giving individuals the power to share their thoughts and experiences in real time. In this landscape, a single hashtag had the potential to capture the world's attention. And so, on July 13, 2013, that fateful hashtag was born. The acquittal of George Zimmerman, a man charged with second-degree murder and manslaughter for the fatal shooting of an unarmed Black teenager named Trayvon Martin, sent shockwaves through the African American community. It was in this moment that three women, Alicia Garza, Patrisse Cullors, and Opal Tometi, took to social media and, in a moment of collective anguish, gave birth to the hashtag Black Lives Matter. Now, you might be wondering, what was it about these three words that resonated so deeply with people? To understand that, we must first recognize the weight of each word in this powerful phrase. Black, a word that acknowledges the shared identity and experience of Black individuals in a racialized society. Lives, a word that speaks to the inherent value and worth of each person. And matter, a word that asserts the importance, the significance, and the need for recognition and respect for those lives. Together, these words formed a rallying cry that echoed across the internet and into the hearts and minds of people across the globe. But the Black Lives Matter movement was not merely a hashtag. Oh no, dear viewers. This was a call to action, a demand for justice, and a fight for equality that would not be silenced. As the movement gained momentum, it began to manifest in various forms. Protests, demonstrations, and acts of civil disobedience were organized, bringing attention to the countless acts of violence and injustice faced by Black individuals in America. Names like Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, and many others were etched into the public consciousness, highlighting the urgent need for change. The Black Lives Matter movement also sought to address the broader systems of inequality and oppression that affected Black communities. Issues like mass incarceration, police brutality, racial profiling, and the school-to-prison pipeline were brought to the forefront of public discourse. The movement's leaders and activists sought to challenge these systems and create a world in which Black lives were truly valued and respected. Throughout its history, the Black Lives Matter movement has been met with both support and opposition. Allies have joined in the struggle for racial justice, recognizing that the fight for equality does not end with one race or one issue. However, detractors have also emerged, with some claiming that the movement promotes division and anti-police sentiment. It is crucial to recognize that the Black Lives Matter movement is not anti-police. Rather, it is anti-police brutality, anti-racial profiling, and anti-systemic racism within law enforcement. It is a call for accountability and transparency, as well as an end to policies and practices that disproportionately harm Black communities. As the years went by, the Black Lives Matter movement continued to evolve and adapt to the changing times. The movement became increasingly intersectional, recognizing the unique challenges faced by Black individuals who also identify as LGBTQ+ or disabled, for example. It also began to spread beyond the borders of the United States, with chapters and solidarity protests emerging in countries across the globe. And then, in May 2020, the world was once again reminded of the tragic reality that had given birth to the Black Lives Matter movement. The death of George Floyd, a Black man who died in police custody after an officer knelt on his neck for over 8 minutes, sparked outrage and grief not just in America, but around the world. In the midst of a global pandemic, people took to the streets in droves, demanding justice for George Floyd and countless others whose lives had been cut short by systemic racism and police violence. The summer of 2020 saw some of the largest and most widespread protests in modern history. Cities around the world were filled with people of all races, ages, and backgrounds, united in their support for the Black Lives Matter movement. Once again, the power of social media played a significant role in amplifying the message and mobilizing individuals to take action. The impact of the Black Lives Matter movement can be seen in various aspects of society today. From the removal of Confederate statues and the renaming of streets and buildings, to the increased awareness and discussion around racial inequality and policing, the movement has undeniably left its mark on history. While there have been some tangible changes and gains, the fight for racial justice is far from over. The Black Lives Matter movement serves as a reminder that the struggle for equality is an ongoing process, and that it is the responsibility of each and every one of us to actively work towards a more just and inclusive world. Today, we have journeyed through the origins and history of the Black Lives Matter movement, a story that is still being written as we speak. As we return to our present, let us not forget the lessons we have learned and the conversations we have started. For it is through understanding our past that we can shape our future and continue to write the timeless sagas of our world. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and until next time, keep exploring the vast and wonderful tapestry of human history.